I think just working for myself, one thing, and not just in employment-wise, but working on myself as in mentally, physically, spiritually, all aspects. And on that, I guess on that journey as well, I realised I wanted to do something different to what I was doing. Well, still currently am doing, but working towards just doing something I enjoy more, focusing on something that's more positive as well. Because at the moment we need a bit of positivity with everything that's going on. It's not really much. And I think it's important. The stuff I am interested in, it may not be for everyone, but if other people can learn from that and I can share that with people, I guess that's positive in itself. Because I think it's important, health, overall health in all them areas, whether it's fitness, exercise, cold showers, eating clean, or eating right. I mean, when people say they're on a diet, it just means they're actually just eating clean, normal food. Yeah. I mean, it's just takeaways, all this processed stuff, this is what they're cutting out. But that's considered a diet when you get rid of all this processed food. But just reminding people of things like that, eating clean. And more so, because in particular, I couldn't do any of that unless I changed my mindset. And I think that was a big key of just not overcomplicating things, just working things out, just taking them one step at a time and slowly working on each bit of me that I need to work on. But I guess, with the name being Simple Life, I wanted things just to be simple as well. I think we overcomplicate a lot of our problems in life. Well, we create them ourselves as well. But I wanted just to break that down, make them more simple, and then work through them one by one.
So with that, what is simplicity to you then? Or that you apply in your own life?
Getting rid of the problems I create for myself, I guess. Any problem that I have or anyone has, they've created themselves through their mindset on what's happened to them. And it's just changing my mindset and making things more simple for myself, focusing more on what I can control and letting go on what I can't control. Because all the things I can't control are the problems that I've created for myself. So if I cut them out and start focusing more on what I can control, it seems these problems all go away.
Okay. Very interesting.
You can ask another one if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Practical tips. What would you like with everything you've learned, or like your obviously ongoing journey? What would you tell an individual, anything that you've learned and you've accomplished, for them to follow or advise them to follow?
I think one of the best things I've learned throughout the last 3 to 4 years from working on myself is just don't aim for perfection. It's near enough impossible, and it's not something you really want to achieve. I think being consistent, working on yourself, even if it's like exercise, even if just consistent, maybe every single day, 5 days a week, not always getting the perfect exercise in, not always getting that hour and a half, 2 hour exercise in, but even just getting that 10 minutes in, but just staying consistent with that and working on myself, even with journaling. Even if I couldn't spend all that time I wanted to spend, maybe 20 minutes writing everything I wanted to write and going through that, even just writing down 5 minutes, just writing a few things I'm grateful for that have happened throughout my day. I think maybe just a little quick bit of reflecting. But instead of just focusing on, I need to do this, I need this time slot, I need all this time to do everything I need to do, it's not always possible every single day.
Yeah.
You've got other stuff that's going to happen to you that you may not be able to, some stuff that's out of your control that you've got to go and fix. So you may not get that time you needed before, the day before, or the day after. You may not always get that exact amount of time to do something. Okay. But as long as I'm staying consistent, I know I'm going to keep on the right track. It's when you're not consistent, and that's when you're going to fall off.
With that, if let's say you'll realize that something is out of your control, how is your mindset then?
Just have to let it go, I guess.
How do you let it go? Or what would you do?
I think it would depend on the situation. Let's say a good one, which I think you can relate to, is car trouble. Yeah. When you're stuck in traffic, a lot of the time you're moaning and beeping your horn at the person in front of you or whoever. And all that wasted energy is just, you can't control how they drive, All that beeping and horning and blowing your horn, it's just not going to do anything. It doesn't make you feel better. You're still, at the end of the day, still stuck behind them. Yeah. But just realising that, okay, no matter what I do, I've just got to sit here and just wait. And I guess that itself, it teaches you patience, teaches you to learn that you've got to be patient with other people. Not everyone's the same. People drive differently. And as long as I make sure I'm okay and I'm good, I'm comfortable in being a good driver. I don't really think there's nothing else to sort of worry about, I guess, in that situation. I can't control. No, obviously be cautious of other people if you feel like they're not going to be a great driver. Yeah, but you can't control if they're going to hit you or not, or if they're going to reverse into you, or they're going to drive into someone else. You can only focus on what you're doing in that moment and the actions you're going to take. So instead of beeping that horn, no, that person in front of you may not even think it's towards them, because if we're stuck in traffic, they might just think it's you're beeping at someone further ahead. No one really knows, I guess, why you're beeping in the first place. Only you, and it's not really going to save. It's not really going to change your mood or energy. It's just going to make you feel better for a slight second, but then back to reality, you're still stuck in traffic where you were.
That's true. All right.
What about you? How do you deal with other people?
Oh God, it depends. It really depends on the situation. Sometimes I stop myself and just think, is it really worth it with my energy for them? And sometimes it's stress relief. I will just let it out and then I'll feel bad. So I'm still working on it, where I just stop, think, and then I think I'd rather hurt myself than others. So I would just keep it in myself and be helpful, I guess.
I guess when you're letting it out, is your intention to hurt them though?
No.
But why do you think you may?
Temper.
Just temper.
I think it's a temper thing. Definitely, like over the years, it was very bad. But over the years, I think myself, or you just learn in general how to control it and just realize, is it worth the energy? Like how you said, is it really worth it, the energy? When you know you're not in the wrong with certain people. I mean, yeah, cars, for example, traffic, or even if something happens to the car, yeah, you get stress and anxiety and stuff. But some people, or like myself, it takes a little bit of time to realize, okay, well, I can't do anything about it. Me personally, I write them things down, or I will talk to someone and then get it out, I guess, until it's solved. And I'll be out of the system.
So it's better to let go of it and release that instead of holding on to it.
I think the letting go is something still needs to be worked on. Because it's like there's different methods or ways of letting things go. I guess in the past, I would just go to the gym, or I would just, let's say, pamper myself, or go for a bath, or just watch cliche movies, something in one way or the other. It just really depends on the situation.
I guess when you say as well, going to the gym or writing something down, journal, all them things you're doing, I guess what anyone does as well, it's getting you out of your own head, I guess.
Yeah.
Especially with gym, you're not focusing on what's happened earlier that day, you're focusing on what's right in front of you. With journaling, I guess it's a bit different. You're writing it all down because you're seeing it on paper. I guess it's easy for you to reflect on and work through. For me personally, that's how I felt.
Yeah.
If I write something down, it just makes it clear, getting my thoughts out instead of having them all jumbled up in my head in the first place.
That's true. I think for me, I've never been great with journaling because if something is happening already in front of me, why would I want to read it? So what I tend to then do is talk to myself in my head and write things down. What can I change it? So, I don't know, if let's say someone passed away, I'm not going to write it down in my journal how I feel about it, because I will then start reading it back. And that's something, me personally, I would want to read it back. And so what I just do is write, what am I going to do about it? So when I write it down, it's more positive. So I'm reading something positive rather than I'm just reading something negative about how I felt or feel about it. That's me personally. But sometimes I read when I was a kid, I always had a diary and things like that. When I read them, I laugh about it and just be like, why did I even write this? So I guess in that perspective, if you write a journal and you're reading in 5 years' time, it's kind of you reflecting about yourself. But for me, I'm too curious to see how I felt like 2 days ago. And then I'll read it, and because it was still fresh, those feelings come back.
Well, do you reckon that you've left it for a few days, your mindset may be different?
It definitely would be different, I think. But it really depends on the cause of it, I guess. If, let's say, death or certain things, how I felt it in the moment how you feel in the moment, the way you write also depends on how you're going to read in the moment when you feel happy. Sometimes when I used to read back, I would feel upset again. And I'm like, never going to read it again. Sometimes I would read certain things back and I'd be like, okay, well, it's great. Now I feel different. So it depends what mindset I'm in to be reading it back.
It's interesting with death. It's a tough one. So I understand. For me, I've not really experienced much death in my life. But for people that I do know, more people I know recently, when they speak about death, they want it to be a happy thing. And so I get that as well. For death, you spend, I guess, depending on who is passing your life, you got to think if that's a grandparent or just anyone, a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no matter what age, you've got to know them for their life and for your life. You've gotten to meet that amazing person.
Yeah.
Share all their memories with them, create all them wonderful memories, learn from them. I don't think they'd want you to be, again, we don't know what I'm thinking, but I guess I can't imagine they'd want you to be sad afterwards. I guess they'd want you to remember all the good times and the happy times.
Yeah.
As hard as it, obviously, there's time to grieve as well and process the emotions you're going through. But after that, I think once you can reflect on all the good moments you had with them and have that, for me, like for the people I do know that have been in my life, I can be grateful that they were in there. And I've been able to learn these lessons from them. Whether they're small lessons or big lessons, I've been able to learn from them. I'm grateful for that, for the things they may have done for me in the past. I know, so it can be, I think it can be seen as not a messy, not a happy thing, of course, but
It's
great. You can be
bittersweet.
grateful for them in your life, and you don't have to be. It doesn't have to be a sad thing.
It's a very bittersweet one. I've had my best friend passed away a couple of years ago. In the beginning, it was very, very tough and rough. But let's say we've always shared like events, managing parties and stuff. So when it came to Halloween, for example, he loved, sorry, like parties. He would always plan them. So instead of like me doing it, he would take over. So now every time something comes around, I know he's always around. So I changed it the last 5 years. It's a good thing.
I guess they never really leave us, do they? All the the lessons we've learned from them always stay with us. That's something that we could always reflect on and be happy about. And going back to what we said before, with change and changing the mindset, there's a quote I've got here. If we want to create change, we can't keep thinking about the past and the old. Instead, we must focus on the future and the new.
That's a tough one. Sometimes whatever you see, you always, it's true. I definitely agree with it. But without you have to think of the past to create the future. What do you want to change from the past?
But if you're thinking about the past, if you'd be creating from the past, or how would you use the past? How would you use the past?
Change your habit. Learn from your lessons from the past. Learn actually about yourself. Look at yourself. Who were you in the past? Compare it as a different person. What do you want to take away from the past? What do you want to keep? What do you want to change? And then create a new one. That is definitely. But you can't create a new yourself without me personally. I can't create myself a new person in the future without me having to look, how was I yesterday? That's still thinking of the past. But without having to have that self-reflect, you will still be carrying the past. You're not living in the future.
I think it's important to self-reflect. Like you say, it's good to look at the past to learn from, see what you want to improve and see what you want to keep the same, and then learn. Yeah, take what you want, learn from that. Get a plan in place. Okay, how am I going to change these things about me?
It's not even about the same. Be a better person. If you think that's already good about you, how can you make it better? How can you be the best version of yourself in the future, even though it's good?
So consistently learning from each day.
Every day, definitely.
I might have to bring up the analogy of the fish now.
Go on.
So imagine you're a fish going through the stream, swimming along with all the other fish there. And all of a sudden, there's a turning in the stream. But obviously, you don't know there's going to be a turning because you're just following everyone else. All of a sudden, you end up whacking the wall. You fall down. Well, fish, no, metaphorically. You fall down. You then get left behind, I guess. And then you've got to catch up with everyone else. And then carrying on swimming in the stream. Next thing you know, another corner goes. You get hit again. You fall down. You're even further back. And you're worse than yourself. But I always thought if you were a fish swimming long stream, sometimes you may need to jump out of the water and look ahead a little bit and see what's coming in front of you. That way you can see, you may not be able to predict what exactly will happen, with the tide, with the stream, may get quicker, may get slower. But at least that way, if you take a look ahead of where you're going, see the plan you've got in place, you can see, okay, I can see what's happening. I'm going to be more prepared for it this time. I know it's coming up. I know there's going to be a right turn. I'm now more prepared for that right turn. I know it's coming. I'm going to see it. But if you're constantly keeping your head down, you're not going to see what's in front of you. And one way, eventually, that's going to hit you in the face, and it's going to bring you back. But I think some people need that first. If you're constantly always ahead, then all of a sudden, it's like if you're always successful, once that failure hits you, you're not going to be able to take it. If you never experienced it before. But if you have them few mistakes at the start, not realizing you need to look ahead sometimes, you keep whacking yourself, eventually you're going to say, okay, I need to learn from this. It keeps happening. What can I do? And eventually, once you take that jump out and you can see ahead, just makes life easier for you. Every now and then, just have a little look ahead of where you're going and see what's there, see what's going to maybe come out, see what things you may not be able to control that are going to come for you. Just have a little look, and you're more prepared that way. And I think you can learn from it. You can still stay ahead, keep on track. But again, if you keep looking down, eventually it's going to hit you, and you're going to keep slowing down. You may go off track. You may lose your path. But so imagine another bit in the stream. There's two pathways. One is lovely, two streams, I should say, that break off. One is a lovely, looks amazing, sun, rainbows, everything you'd want. The other one's like, thunder, lightning, just awful. Looks like it's gonna be a rough one. If you have a look ahead, then you can decide what route you want to take. If you just, keeping your head down, not paying attention, it's going to be decided for you. Your route in life, your journey, where you're going to go, you're no longer going to have control over that. So then you can pick your struggle, I guess. Do you want to go down the hard route, or do you want to go down the easy route? But the point is, you get that choice, and that's why some people just always, I guess, just happy to follow the stream, just let it go where it wants to. Happy to let it take them wherever it wants to go. And I get that would go with the flow. Sometimes you've got to in certain situations. If you can't, sometimes when you're out, when you don't have control of it, but overall in life, you do have control of your mindset. You do have control of the plans you want to put in place, the goals you have. But if you just keep letting everything take control of you, then you lose your power.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. However, with the fish situation, for example, this is what happens when you follow people, when you follow everyone else where they go in. But it also happens why people always look down. For example, I don't disagree. You definitely have to look ahead, what is coming at you. Sometimes you don't even know what's ahead.
Not all the time,
Not all the time, but sometimes definitely. And the other thing is, like, if, let's say, a lot of people nowadays on concert, they're always on the phone, filming and watching it from the phone as well. They don't even take a moment and just look at it. So I agree in that concept or metaphor definitely as well. And the other thing is, like, if, let's say, there's two paths, there's one's absolutely pretty and one is like, I guess it's like one of those situations, if someone wants to go to university or if they want to just go straight to the job, at the end of the day, you still go to the same, or even one or the other. It's two different destinies and fates.
I would say so. I think if you look ahead as well, like following the crowd, it's not something you really want to do. Just be a sheep.
I feel like that fish could have stopped for a minute when as soon as the first setback they got, should have stopped and be like, why did I get hit? What did I just do? Can you see other people getting hit as well? Can they say, why is everyone even following each other? If that was me personally, who doesn't follow the crowd, I would have just gone through the wall, or I would have just gone back and just gone around. So it's a self-reflect. Clearly hasn't gone through what he needed to do, what they needed to do. So that's why there's so many setbacks.
I guess sometimes people need to learn the same lesson over and over again until they get it right.
Yeah, that's true.
Another quote I have. We have two primary choices in life. We can either accept conditions for how they are, or we can take responsibility to change them. So again, it's up to us. If we want to keep things to stay the same, we're just willing to accept things for how they are. That's great. Let people, lose that control over your mind. Let other people just, do what they want to you. Let them control the situation. But you then have a choice. If you want to take control, if you want to take that responsibility, put into action, you can do that. It's entirely up to you. The choice is always yours in life, what you want to do.
Yeah.
It's just up to you if you want to take that responsibility. If you want that responsibility. But like I say, a lot of people want to follow the crowd and just let someone else decide for them these days. People easily...
And then they blame others as well.
People easily just follow what everyone else says. I think I said it before. I don't know if I said it on this one, but with my previous guest, Mitch. But even a social influencer or a celebrity, they could post something out here telling everyone to do something. Most people gladly jump on board without even realising what they're doing in the first place. They just happily go, yep, he's doing it, I'm going to do it. All these other followers are doing it, I need to fit in. And just not taking that second to go, why? Just that why. Not many people seem to ask why anymore. Just willing to accept things for how they are and go, okay, no problem at all. I'll jump on board.
That's the thing. It's really rare to find someone or any group of people who are just thinking for themselves and just doing something, or even taking responsibility for what they have done. At the end of the day, if something happens to you, why did it happen to you? Why did you decide to do that? That's on you. You can't blame someone. That's like if someone gives you a medication, I chose to take it. Yes, there is obviously the trust because the doctors are giving it. But me personally, I'll do the research behind it. Okay, is it really good? Do I want to take it? Are there more like natural remedies that I can do rather? At the end of the day, you're the one putting in your body. No one forced it down your throat.
I think because now these days with like pharmaceuticals and natural remedies, a lot of people just assume that someone in a white lab coat knows exactly what they're talking about.
I can put that on and just walk into and just give that. I'll bet with you, someone will take it.
I think most GPs these days don't even do hardly any research at all on nutrition. It seems to just go out the window for a lot of people. And you look at most most GPs these days, they're not in good shape at all.
No.
A lot of them don't even know how to take care of themselves.
No, I do wonder.
Happy to give out information to others, but not even taking the information for themselves. And the information they do give out, most of the time, is wrong.
Yeah, it's just all academic. That's all they know and remember, and that's what they just give out. Not really anything from their own, sort of.
I think it's better to go natural as well. Natural remedies, like I said to you with the blueberries. It's crazy. Like if you just take like a cup full of blueberries, your concentration, your focus, your energy, all that enhances.
Exactly.
Just from something from the earth, something that's natural. And a lot of lots of other fruits do that. Meats do that. I guess there's a lot of herbal remedies as well.
Yeah.
There's just so many natural things in life, natural foods, drinks that we can take that can heal us and cure us and help us.
Probably my favourite is spices as well. Turmeric, for example, that's probably one of my favourites. Literally goes in everything and everywhere, and definitely something my mum taught us since we were a child. It's antibiotics, natural something.
Do you reckon that's because of where you're from as well? Do you reckon it's because England, I wouldn't say...
No,
there's not many parents that are going to
is.
teach their kids that.
No.
Or show their kids that.
I won't even say England.
Shame.
I think it is a shame, but also a lot of people don't want to. Definitely some, I guess, more background of culture and everything, but I think a lot of people just don't want to explore cultures and different, I guess, cuisines as well. It's like people think, oh, turmeric is just food. Actually, it's not. It's just not colouring. It's also definitely got a lot of antioxidants in it that it can be used in anything. And it doesn't have a flavour, so it does its job.
Especially chilies, is it?
Yeah.
Chilies clear your sinuses
Definitely.
right out.
Exactly. That's something like as soon as my dad has a runny nose, that's it. My mum cooks something that's absolutely spicy, has turmeric with water mixed up, and that's it. After a day, it's gone.
But these days, people would just rather grab a pill or cough throat, cough syrup or something like that.
It's the funny
it's
thing.
Quick and easy, simple thing to do.
Every time my mum knows I'm going to the GP, and then she's like, "Do not take any medications. Let me know what it is," and she will literally just sit there and make everything, like hair oil, for example, face masks, everything. It's just all made natural.
I think so. I think it's good, especially with what you're putting on your body.
Yeah.
I mean, why would you put something on your body that you wouldn't put in your body? Like you wouldn't. Like a lot of deodorants have aluminium in them. You're not exactly gonna be stuffing aluminium down your throat. You're not gonna be eating it. Like a lot of the chemicals you see in all these like deodorants or hair products.
Yeah.
All these beauty products, I guess, as well. They're not something if you saw them in something like a meal or something like that, or some ingredients in food, you'd be like, no, I don't want any of this. That sounds it sounds like it's going to harm my body.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
people don't really see that. They go, oh, this product's good. It's advertised a lot. It seems to be popular. I'm just going to go and grab it. I don't need to worry about what's in it. Other people are taking it, so it must be good.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's when people
Without
don't do
just
their
taking
research.
that moment, just say, actually, is this going to be good for me? Is this actually going to help me? Like we go back, there's so many natural things you can use. They're just better for you. And you feel better from them. I've noticed the more home cooked meals I have, the healthier I feel, the happier I feel. The more processed stuff, the more takeaways you have, it just makes you feel rough.
I think for me, it just gives me sometimes anxiety when I take away. I don't know what's been in there. So whereas when I cook, I know exactly how much I put in there, what
You're
food and
cooking it.
products, and especially what kind of products I'm buying as well. So I know how it is made and done.
Every single ingredient,
Yeah.
what's in there, how much is
Exactly.
in there. But in restaurants, this is the stuff they use. You have no idea when you go into a restaurant what seed oils they use, what's it cooked in. Like even it's funny, but even with the vegetarian options for people that want that, they have no idea if that's even what that's cooked with. It could be easy mixed in with the meats or something like that.
Like from McDonald's, for example, like what is the mozzarella dippers is like classified as vegetarian or something like that, and but it's been cooked at the same oil as the popcorn chicken together, and a lot of people don't know that. I'm like, okay, here we are.
People just think it's vegetarian because it says it. I mean, it is interesting how I get sometimes people they're out and about, they need a quick meal and they'll go grab something. Sure, I get that.
Yeah.
You can't always have a cooked meal,
No.
but majority of the time you can. You can have a cooked meal. It does not take as long as people think it takes to make a cooked meal.
Depends what you want to cook. But that's the thing. There's so much out there. Spend 2 days out of your week or a day out of your week. Couple of hours, meal prep, put them in the fridge. It's at least home cooked already. Saves you time. Just spending 2 to 4 hours.
Cheaper as well in the long run. Like you could buy mince. You could buy mince so cheap these days. Mince that will last you, I don't know, buy 500 grams of mince. That could last you quite
3
a bit.
meals.
Yeah. Whereas you'd pay you pay less than a meal at McDonald's or something like that.
Yeah,
that's
true.
You pay so much less. But people just want that easier option, I guess, in life.
Because it's quicker for them. It's a shortcut.
A lot of people are lazy these days as well.
Yeah, they think it's a shortcut. Let's just do that, but they're not realizing what they're putting in their body. Like, don't get me wrong. Like years ago, I wasn't like I'll probably fit in that category, but I think probably after 18, 19, things have just changed. You just care more what you take rather than I don't know how much you take, and then change from there on. And slowly, it is a transition. It's a very difficult transition for a lot of people, because if you're so used to fast food, then it's very difficult to get into the natural ones and healthier ones. But you can make it the way you like it. You want it, but I agree, people are lazy. And then they blame it on, well, I've got addiction, which I'm like, okay, that can be worked on as well. If you really want to do it, then you need to change on your mindset. And if you're really struggling on it, then you need to sit down and talk to yourself.
I think with that, with the laziness as well, I was going to say with COVID, I think that gave people two choices there with food. You could either constantly, because you couldn't really go out anymore for food, couldn't go to restaurants, so it gave people two choices. I can either start making my own meals at home, start from scratch, and again, even if you don't cook, just start simple. Just make simple meals at first, build up into it, learn the processes.
Yeah.
And then you can go off and try and make fancy meals. And if it doesn't work out, it's fine, try again.
Yeah.
It's okay. But that gave people two choices. They can either do clean, make their own food from scratch, make their own recipes, do what they want with it, or they can just go down the route of, I might as well just order takeaway now, I can't go out. Might as well just get takeaway this night. It's not that far.
Yeah.
So I think that was a big curve for people to either start focusing more on themselves and what fitness, health, or just going to go down the road of, let's just get takeaway. Nothing, I can't go out. Let's just watch Netflix.
Yeah.
That was a big curve, I think, for people.
I think it definitely was very difficult. Can't remember for myself personally. I definitely was cooking like every day. It would be takeaway here and then, but it depends. Like, to be honest, I was in a different state back then anyways, so everything was just different. But I think coming out of COVID, I think even with that, during the COVID, what I've missed the most, like seeing people and stuff, but at the same time really worked on myself as well. Like, as you said, literally tried out different recipes. Like, okay, what else can I do? Because most of the time I was bored, so I literally lost myself in the kitchen just cooking different things and what I can do after coming out of COVID times. But a lot of like my friends I would know, they would just take the easy one and do takeaway and then not do anything about it. But for me, I was like, okay, even if you eat that, just work out at least.
So with you working on yourself, I'll say so Nike. So there's something I've read as well. Mm-hmm. So Nike stand for just do it.
Okay.
Adidas stand for impossible. Nothing is impossible. Mm-hmm. What would you say you stand for? With what you've learned through COVID and starting to work on yourself and change certain aspects of your life, what would you now say you would stand for? If when people look at you, what would they say?
Not gonna lie, probably is that here she goes again. As in with
Yeah, explain.
I've always got something to say. So if someone says something which does not make sense in my head, I will be like, okay, where are you coming with that from? And then I will decide if I agree with it or disagree. If I agree with it, okay, I've got nothing else to say. If I disagree with it, I'll make my point stand and kind of change their mind about things. So if, let's say, like, I don't know, I've got a person there crying, I'm like, what are you crying for? And obviously she or he will just tell me about it, and then I'll be like, okay, and I'll make my decision. Is it worth crying about it or is it not worth crying about? But this is the thing. My friends will always say, here she goes again. She's always got something to say. But not in annoying, actually, I don't know. Maybe annoying.
But what are your intentions when you're saying it?
It's always for the better. I don't like seeing upset people. I don't like seeing sad people. I've always want to see them smile. What is going on? Almost like butting in their business, but not meaning to. But I always end up in the middle, and I've always wondered why. But it's definitely because I get myself in that situation somehow.
Do you think you prefer to focus on other people more than yourself?
I used to be very much of a people pleaser.
But now?
Not so much cutthroat. Definitely. If someone comes to me with their problems, which I know I haven't created it, you know where the door is, the same door that you came in.
There's a quote that you've made me think of. There is no knight in shining armor to come and save you. You're it.
Yeah, that is true. It is true. Unfortunately, I've got a lot of people who think I am the armor, especially like my family, which is fine, but at the same time, I'm trying to just do me. And but that's also another thing. I've always liked to have things in control about my own life, which I know I'm slowly opening it up, not to have everything in place and have control over everything that I want to do or need to do, actually. But yeah, people just need to see themselves in the mirror and see, okay, that you're the only person you can get yourself out of it.
What are your priorities like, would you say? How are you with your priorities and how do you prioritize things? Speaking on focusing more on you and what you need to work on, as you said, different aspects, different points. How would you prioritize that?
Depends on the situation. Give me a situation.
Your life.
Oh, me, my life. Oh,
like all the different points that you want to start doing, focusing on, whether that's work, outside of work, your goals, future. What's your working on yourself, of course. How do you prioritize all that? Do you have a top? What's your top priority, I'd say?
I think when I'm working, my priority right there at that moment is just work. I would just look through, okay, what do I need to do? But like overall in my life, as a priority, it's just making sure I don't cry, really. That's literally my top priority. That I don't sit there and cry about my life and like pity myself. Like if that moment has been happening a lot over the years and that is my top priority, I just want to see myself laugh and happy and smile. And even if I do the worst decisions, I know those are my decisions I've made. So if I get to that position, I know I've done something I should not have done. And it's just more being self-aware.
With the crying, with not crying, what would you try and avoid crying? What push the emotions away? What would you, or just go straight, okay, this is why I'm upset. This is what I need to work on. How am I going to do it? But what's your mindset with that, with the not crying?
Maybe it's, are you, okay.
Do you not want to show the emotions? I know some people, they don't, it's hard for them people to show emotions, more so in person. But what would you say yours would be?
I think it changes it changed over the years. Growing up, it was always don't ever show your emotions. But I was the oldest, so my dad always like kind of raised me to be like a guy, for example, and I'm more like the ability, like always have control over it, taking care of the family and anything. My mom would be like, well, the oldest, if we're gone, you have to take care of your siblings. So my sister always saw me as a mother, so I have to raise them and things like that. So if I show that I'm crying, my sister will cry. I can't see her crying. I can't see everyone cry. So I will literally just suppress it for years. And then one day, it just all came out. So I'm like, okay. I was young. I was like, what, 9 or 10 for those long times? Obviously, I would cry and then I'll get punished for it because I'm crying. I'm showing emotions. That means I'm showing weakness. So I always thought for years, okay, if I'm crying, that's weakness. But over the years, I've learned, well, no, if I'm crying, that's just my feelings wanting to get out. I'm just taking care of myself. So if I feel like I need to cry and it's just feel like it will come out. And I do accept it. But at the same time, I've cried way too many times over the years that I just want to see myself laugh or hear myself laugh more.
Yeah.
And that is what I meant like as a top priority. I want to hear more laughing than me crying about something that I have no control over it. But I know it's the feelings, but there's just people out there who just want to deliberately hurt you and they know which buttons to press. And that, in that sense, I want to control that shouldn't have never happen. And I can't control how people react to me or like how they are with me, but I can only control how I am towards it. I'm a very sensitive, emotional person in general. So if that's something like happens, I can't stop it from them. Well, I can't stop in general. It just comes out. So I distance myself from those kind of people. So that's why I'm now wary and aware what kind of people I'm meeting. So I can read body language very quickly. I can tell already what someone's intentions are because of the things I've gone through. So if someone already hasn't got the good intentions with me, yeah, I'm out. I'm gone. I don't have the energy for it. So it's okay to cry, but I would not want to be like that, I would say. It depends on what situation I get myself into. So it's like I'm almost tiptoeing around myself, which is not. That's why I struggle with just go with the flow.
I do think it's good to process the emotions as well. Like I get with crying, you don't want to stay. I think some people, when they cry, they feel like they're going to stay in that way. They're going to stay that way for a while and they're not going to be able to get out of it. And they're stuck in that mindset. They're thinking, okay, I'm crying now, this is it. I think you just, like you say, you just got to work on these things as well, process them. I know with stoicism, people believe that it's not showing any emotions or being emotionless, but it's the opposite case. It's the opposite case. It's where you're learning about your emotions and why you feel the way you do about the things you do. And once you've learned the reasons why, you're more better to control them emotions and handle them. Because it's natural, you're going to feel emotions about everything. That's why a lot of the most important memories we have in our lives, the ones that we can remember the most, are because of the emotional attachment we have to them, that emotional response.
Yeah.
Like a really happy time you had, it may have only happened once for you. Like for me, like only a few times, but the first time I went skydiving, because that was such an amazing experience for me and such a big moment in my life. That emotional attachment I have is why I'm always going to remember that. So we're always going to have emotions and they're going to be attached to us, but it's just how we respond and deal with them emotions. But I think if you cry, you cry. It's not. It's not. It's not.
I think it's maybe because I look into everything so deep and overthink. So, just recently I felt like absolutely crying. I called my sister, and she was like, "What's going on?" She let me speak, obviously, And then afterwards, I felt better. It's like those
Getting it
moments,
out.
I get it, obviously. I got it all out. And she was like, you feeling
Processed
better
it.
now? I'm like, yeah, I do. And then she was like, do you feel like laughing? I'm like, yeah, because I do laugh afterwards because I felt silly. Why did I just laugh? I mean, cry, obviously. And then
Yeah.
I laugh, but that's my defense mechanism. I just joke or laugh about it instantly, even though I'm nervous or anything like that. But because my safe sister gets it, she's like, well, if you feel better, that's fine. It's okay. Because I had a bad moment and I had flashbacks coming through. And I'm like, oh. But then I realized, and after speaking to her, like, it's just bad habits of what's happened in the past just coming, but disconnecting. So I'm not saying not like crying is a bad thing. It is a good thing.
Yeah.
But it depends why you're crying. What is the reason behind it? If you have control over it, then right before you cry, just stop yourself. That's what I always try. Like, okay, now I feel like my tears are coming up.
If the reason's
Why?
external factors.
Yeah,
Which makes sense.
exactly.
I think that's why I think a lot of people's problems come from external factors. A lot of we just create our own issues. But it's good that you're able to, like, talking to your sister, being able to process that and talking out loud, maybe understanding why. Because talking about it, you can actually hear, okay, this is what you really want.
You get a different perspective as well.
Yeah. You get a different mindset from your sister.
Yeah.
Makes you see things from a different point of view.
Exactly. There might be questions that you're not even questioning yourself, but they might ask you and they were like, oh. And then instantly within 2 minutes or a minute, oh, I don't know why I'm crying now. I didn't even think of that. It's just overthinking it. And, sometimes with whatever happens to me, I get dramatic. So
I think it's easy for us to think negatively though. Like we don't have to, with any, like even with other people in our lives that we don't like, that people don't like or we hate. It's easy. You don't have to you don't have to put any work into it. You don't have to motivate yourself to feel negative or hate someone. No. It can be an automatic thing for some people.
Yeah.
But being positive, staying positive in that moment, being like, keeping strong, that takes work.
It does
takes work on the mindset.
Yeah. It definitely gets a hit now and then, which is, it's difficult. Like every day that you would do something to be motivated, but one day you do feel that heavy load. Like, I don't know if I feel like being motivating today myself. But those are the moments where you just, you realize it already, there's some heavy weight on you. Do something to get rid of it and then get on with it.
Would you say discipline? Are you a big person on discipline?
Self-discipline. I think within that sense, I do have my priorities, what I want to be self-disciplined in with first, and then work with the rest.
What would you say? In what?
I mean,
aspect?
self-discipline for a lot of people would be for, let's say, healthy. Okay, that's one thing. Another thing would be, I don't know, what else is there? Habits and things like that. So for me, it would be really like, it's just because of like past experience, people who do I have, it's my community, my atmosphere, my vibe is my self-discipline. Like every day I make sure who is and what is around me and strictly sticking to it. I don't make unnecessary people as friends. And the other thing, it would be definitely health, obviously, that's one thing. And one thing I do always try and work on is get enough sleep. Yeah.
A third of our lives, that is. Well,
Yeah.
it should be 8 hours a day or night, sorry.
Well, sometimes you can't get it. You cannot absolutely at all. I've watched this one thing where, let's say working mothers or even working dads as well. I'm not going to just say mothers, but individually, like they would have to, she wakes up in the morning, does her workout, and then wakes up the kids. The dad is still overnight, for example, at work. She then takes the kids to school, then goes to her own work. And after that, she comes back, she cooks the food, picks up the kids. The dad is still sleeping because she just came back from obviously night shift. If let's say they've had dogs, take the dogs out as well. And then afterwards, she makes sure the kids have eaten. Then the dad wakes up and has to already get ready to work. And then she then obviously makes sure the kids have, taken showers and all that kind of things like that. And then she makes sure they're in bed. Then she has to do some extra work or anything like that. And then she makes sure she's prepared the food for next day and everything else. By the time she goes to bed, it's 12 o'clock and she gets up at 4 o'clock as well. And she keeps carrying on doing it. Someone like that can do it. Anyone else can do it as well. And she hasn't had the time to take a nap, which is upsetting. But yeah.
But But how long could you go on for doing that? Because if you're not taking
Definitely
care
not
of,
for too long.
because if you're not taking care of yourself, it's why I always like. That's why I've said before. No matter who you are, excuse me. No matter who you are in life, your number one priority should be you. No matter, like even with family, because if you're not taking care of yourself in all aspects, like your sleep, your health, your diet, like fitness, everything, eventually it's going to take a toll on you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can't help yourself, and then you can't help the people around you who you wanted to help in the first place.
It will, but definitely one way or the other. Like I'm talking about, like say a young mother or mid-30s or early 30s. I'm not gonna give an age on that, but quite young kids basically.
Yeah.
But it will still bite you in the back in the future, mid-60s, 50s, 70s, and that's when you wish you could just caught up on those sleeps and stuff like that. I mean, back in uni, don't get me wrong, I barely slept and would do my assignments like crazy night times, or I would go out. I think it kind of changed second year anyway. I would go to sleep early. But other than that, last couple of years, it would be going late, or unless if I have to go to during the day, during the week, it would be quite early because I would have to get up quite very early, like 5 o'clock to catch the train, get to the office and everything else. By the time I come back home, cook the food, eat the food, go back to sleep. I did not like that lifestyle. The only thing I was able to change is the job, which I did. You gotta have to take risks and change your lifestyle if you really want to be better for the future.
How are you with a routine? Do you need one?
I definitely do need one.
But do you need
But I
or
don't
want
stick
one?
I want one because I need one.
Go on.
I think it's more like structure. I used to always have one. It gives me more clarity on my days. What do I need to do? But at the same time, I struggle to even listen to myself, let alone my own routine that I'm creating for myself. So those kind of days, if let's say I wake up in the morning, I take my time because I just literally get my body to wake up. And then I get on with my work. Music is important for me because that just hypes me up, motivates me. I check what I need to do. I do a list on it, what I'm doing throughout the day, on what I need to get done. But I don't actually set on it that I have to do it today because I then get very stressed out with myself that I didn't get it done in a day. So I tell myself, right, this is for today and tomorrow. You don't get it today, you can get it due tomorrow, but at least get 1 or 2 done for today. Then I get on with my work. And right now it's very important for me that I get my naps in between the days because I love my naps. So I'll make sure it's like 15 to 20 minutes. So I then get up, carry on with my work, have lunch, well, before nap anyway. And then make sure I cook my dinner, figure out what to have. And then,
What time are you aiming for your naps? What time are you aiming before?
Definitely before 3 o'clock.
Before 3?
Yeah, definitely before 3.
That's fair. I think it's good. I think it is good to have routine.
How's your routine? Oh, yeah, go on, sorry.
Well, for me, it makes me more consistent. I think it keeps me consistent with what I need to do. If I didn't have that routine in place and everything was just up and down, and I can lose track of everything. I'll lose track of everything I need to do. But if I keep to the same routine of like exercise in the morning, writing in the morning, meditating in the morning, I get people don't need a routine. Some people I would just crack on, do what they need to do without a routine. They'll try and make time somewhere. But for people that maybe have quite a few things going on in their life, that setting out each part of that day to focus on that bit means I don't have to worry about anything else in that time at that moment. I can just focus on that one thing, just be present for that moment.
Yeah.
And just do what I need to do there. And then once I know I've done it, I go, okay, next task, I can do my workout, knowing I haven't got to worry about anything else.
Yeah.
But if I didn't have that, I think it would just make things more difficult for me. It could make me feel a bit stressed, having to try and then work out when I can do this. Oh no, it's too late for me now to do this. I've got to know I need to sleep at this time. But making sure I have that routine, and it doesn't always stick to plan. Things happen that are out of my control that I have to then work around and take charge on, take action.
Yeah.
But even if it's just that staying consistent, even just like going back to what I said earlier, just 10-minute workout, a quick workout, just a core workout, maybe just something, just so I can stay consistent, just stick to that routine. Because for me, it does help, and for other people, it may make their lives easier. I think even just spending I don't know, wake up 2 hours before work or something like that. If you're working from home in particular, it's easier.
Yeah.
Just don't even worry about your phone the first thing in the morning, because you can be hounded by news. People just go on social media. It's just going to be a lot of negative stuff you'll see in the morning, especially with the news. A lot of that's just going to be out there, which you're not the first thing in the morning. No, the first thing you should be really thinking, I think back in the hunter-gatherer times, the first thing you would have done when waking up in the caves or wherever you were sleeping is, oh, I made it through another night. I didn't get, I'm here. I'm alive. This is great. But these days now, people just wake up or turn my phone off, my alarm. Ooh, Instagram's there. So TikTok's there. The news is here. Let's just do on this. The first thing we're seeing, going back to routine, for me, it has helped me a lot. It's helped me organise myself a lot better. Because before, if I just did things just up and down, not picking the time and when, just go, okay, I'll do it now. It works at the start. It was great. I could just do it as and when I please. But then I realised I was enjoying these things a lot more than I first thought. And because I was enjoying these things and found they were helping me, I then wanted to make them a more crucial part of my life. Make them habits. Make them more important. I guess make them more important to me, because they meant something to me. And making them a habit, especially because I wanted to get rid of all the bad habits that I had in my life, and making new habits easier. But it is hard for people to start a new habit.
It takes like more than 66 days for a habit to be called habit.
There are ways we can help that. There are ways we can help with it. Even like, this is what I mean, starting small. Like if you want to start reading a book, people will say, I want to do 12 books a year, one a month. Just, okay, before even that, why don't you just start by doing a few pages a night?
Yeah.
So they're setting these big, or maybe they want to do, 2 books a month or 3 books a month. Instead of just focusing on that, 3 books, setting themselves a big target. Why not just focus on 3 pages a night or 2 pages a night?
No,
Start small, because once you start small and slowly build up that progress, do 2 pages for the first few nights, and then you'll think, okay, this is quite easy. I can do this. Up it and just slowly keep adding more and more. And by the time you've realised it, you're maybe able to do a book a week, maybe a book in a few days.
Yeah. Walk before you run. Yeah.
Walk before you run, and just starting small and building up, making them easier for you. Like, again, if we're going to we'll use the book habit as a good reference for this. If you want to make things easier for you, put that book on your bed, put it on your pillow every day. Once you've woken up, done your bed, if you do your bed in the morning, which is a good way to start the day. Get yourself organised before you start your day, so that way the rest of it's good. But put the book on your bed, and then when you go back to bed at night, you can see it's there, and you go, oh, okay, it's there. It's reminding me I want to do a few pages tonight. Making it easier. Maybe have a lamp there for you to make it easier for you to read. Just adding these little few things in there, just make it so much easier. Prepping as well, I guess with meal prep,
that too
makes things easier to stay on a good diet.
Yeah.
Getting your workout clothes done out in the morning, so that way they're visible. Yeah. Making them visible, easy. Having even reminders. Even having reminders around the house to places you go frequently. So, I know, in the morning, before you're getting out and setting off for your day of work, if you have coffee in the morning, hopefully after 90 minutes of waking up, for beneficial reasons, because the first 90 minutes your adrenal system is not active, so the coffee does nothing for the first 90 minutes anyway, so you might as well wait. Maybe have some salt, some electrolytes, some water, have something like that. But once that time's gone, maybe on your kitchen, in your kitchen, somewhere in your kitchen, maybe in your fridge, somewhere in your coffee around there, just have a little note just saying read. Maybe have the book there next to it as well. So that way when you're having your morning coffee, you've got that book there next to you. Something that's already a habit in your place, like drinking coffee every morning. You're then adding a new habit on top of that, stacking your habits together, just making that bit easier. Which is why I've tried to put them all in the morning. My habits of journaling, working out, like meditating, maybe breath work as well with the meditation, because that's all set out for me in the morning and all in sort of one location normally where I need to do it. Just makes things so much easier for me. Yeah. And that way I don't have to worry about where everything is, wasting time trying to find things, doing these things. Yeah. It's all there in front of me.
Yeah, that's good.
So what would you say What about you? How do you make your habits easier?
I write
Or
them
how do you
down.
stick to them?
No, how I stick to them. That's a good one. Baby steps, definitely. I have this reminder of myself. So to be honest, it starts from like 5:30, which always ping off. And I'll look at it and I'll just kind of listen to my body. Am I tired? Yes, I am. So I'm going to go back. So it's something I used to stick to. Last year, I was doing it every single day. But then it kind of went downwards and I kind of just neglected it. But now I'm like, okay, I'm just going to slowly pick it back up. So, for example, the coffee thing, I would have it straight first thing in the morning. Sometimes I would have some very sugary and then it will literally crush me. So now I am having it after 2 hours of waking up now. So, but coffee in the morning usually would be my routine of having it. I can't go without it. If not, I'll have food. If it's not coffee, I will have food. And definitely because I'm going to be working, I will take a little bit of time for myself doing something. Let's say go for a walk or read something or just something that's just not work before that. House chores, put something in the laundry. Something like that. It could be anything. But when I've got like an hour left for work, I will kind of prepare myself mentally and just already think in my head, all right, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. And then when I start working, I'll write them all down. And then that's it. It's just all about work. And then once I hit like, let's say 5 o'clock, 5:30, sometimes earlier, sometimes later, I don't even think about it work anymore. My laptop is shut down. But it depends because of my field. Sometimes it's still in my head. It has been definitely affecting my habits because I'm not working on my work mindset, let's just say that. But yeah, routine is definitely something I'm working on.
Oh, I was going to ask you. I think I might have to ask you this, seeing as you're here.
Okay.
What is a woman?
What is a woman? Oh, do you mean, in what way do you mean this?
How would you? I'm asking. I've got to ask a female. Well,
Okay.
who I would consider a female. I thought I'd ask. What would you consider a female? What would you consider a woman?
Myself or in general?
You could do yourself, or you could do either yourself or in general.
Okay, which one do you want me to answer?
Let's do both.
Both? That's 2 questions. I'll say overall, women are hard work. We don't know ourselves what we want. But once we know what we want, we're going for it. Complicated for me to even answer it. Certain things that I do not know if I should say it.
We're avoiding the transgender route here.
Well, woman is definitely something that biologically is on my birth certificate where it says I'm a female. That is definitely what a woman is. So if I get time of a month or not, I'm still a woman. I have a womb. So myself as a woman, does that answer the question for women overall?
I think it does.
Yeah.
I think it's made things clear.
All right, cool, perfect. Women myself, the same. So, yeah.
So you said with women, so it's not knowing what you want as well. Mm-hmm. Do you think you now know what you want?
Oh, yeah. I know what I want. You always struggle. I feel like not just women, men don't also, no offense.
No.
You guys don't know either. But even though you have it, you still don't know. I think in some perspective anyway. Depends what it is. But yeah, with me it's more like questioning, is this really what I need or want? And then kind of thinking about, yeah, I need it because I want it. So yeah, I definitely know what I want and going for it.
Something I like from Alan Watts when he says, the reason you don't know what you want in life is because A, you already have it, or B, you don't know who you really are.
Yeah.
And I like that. And sometimes I think you have to work, and I also think sometimes you have to work in reverse to figure out what you want. Mm-hmm. Get rid of all the things you don't want in your life and see what you're left with and take it from there.
Yeah.
But with this day and age and with how everything's going, I feel everyone's so focused on money and getting that money, getting that top job. They're not really focusing on what they really want.
No, they're not going to go
And
anywhere far.
so some people they have like ideas and stuff they want to do, like hobbies and stuff like that. They think, oh, I could always imagine myself doing this, being a writer, being a painter.
Yeah.
But unless you're spending, I think, all your time and all your energy on there, and just forget about the money. Once you become the master of your kingdom, once you master the skill, the money everything will just come with it. As long as you're focusing on what you want, everything else will come, and you're giving it your all. So I guess if you give up, you never know what could or could not been. Like I had the opportunity for the podcast. I could have given up the idea a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I never knew what could have come from this. But I've taken that step now. At least I'm not giving up. I'm going to see where it goes, because you don't know what's going to happen. It could be the best thing that ever happened to me. I could learn a lot of stuff on the way. I'm sure I'll have ups and downs from this, but I'll be able to learn from them and grow from them. Yeah, you're always going to have ups and downs, and I think you need the bad with the good. If you didn't have those bad times, you wouldn't know when the good times were coming.
Exactly.
You wouldn't be able to appreciate them. It's like when everyone thinks when everyone gets depressed, like feels down when it's raining, but you need the rain for everything to grow.
Oh yeah.
We need the rain.
Yeah.
It's just as important as the sun. Just as the bad times are probably more important than the good times. That's why I think we find our true selves, and we can really grow from that position.
Yeah.
If we made that choice to do so, we can either just like go back to what we said before, accept it, just don't take responsibility for it, and say, I'll just go into something else. Or we can take that chance and say, okay, it's time for me to take action. What happened here? What can I do from this?
Yeah, it's true, especially with the with the rain and stuff like that and the sun. People still complain regardless. One way or the other, might as well just do your own thing.
You become a champion when no one is watching.
That is true. And I prefer no one is watching. I think it's kind of best. Otherwise, evil eyes, people looking, people talking, then they would try and talk you out of it. But even that, they can do what they want as long as you have a strong mindset. That's the overall.
What's one bit of advice you would tell your younger self? A few years ago, when you wanted to change yourself and go for changing your mindset and changing all this health and wellness aspects of your life. What you know now, what would you tell yourself back then?
Never lower your standards. Always have them high and have to get them higher.
I guess when you drop your standards, everything else drops around you.
Oh, yeah, because that's what happens with people pleasers. You just drop yourself with everything else that's who's around you. You just keep cutting yourself to fill in the edges for them, where you just lose yourself. You're not happy with yourself. You're not happy with anything, connections, relationship, families, everything. And then you lose yourself on top of that. So your standards have to be high. Never put them down.
And do you feel you're in a better place now than you were then?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Thank you, Steph.
Thanks. You're welcome. Thank you, yeah.
From the end of that.